Welcome to the First Read Ultimate Spider-Man podcast, where we break down Bendis' iconic run on Ultimate Spider-Man, issues 1 through 160 in Earth 1610. I'm Zach, and with me as always, a clockmaker in another life, Johnny O.
Hey, good morning.
What's up, man?
Gosh, it really does feel like I'm like on a talk show, like getting introduced like this every time.
Is it kind of fun?
It's like I'm walking out, waving at the crowd.
Yes, definitely better than the early days when I would wait for you to say, and I'm John.
Yep, probably is.
Here's a look behind the curtain. We stopped doing that because John, and I love this, it was honesty, and that's what the show needed, but he was like, dude, I think that kind of sucks. Like, that's cheesy. We got to knock that off. And I was like, fair enough. I'll just come up with a different superlative for him every week.
There you go. How's your week going?
Dude, my week is going good. This is our first time potting in the new year.
Oh my gosh, it is.
Today's my birthday.
Welcome back. Dude, I can't believe I didn't come in here. I cannot believe I forgot that. Literally, before I went to bed last night, I was like, oh my gosh, it's the 6th, because I went to bed after midnight. And I was like, it's Zach's birthday, and it's the Capitol anniversary. I have to come in with a joke or something. Nope, totally forgot.
People used to get a pass for forgetting my birthday because it's like, you know what? I don't remember your birthday either. It's all good. But now it's like the second most infamous day in American history. And so you got to remember January 6th.
Yep. Happy birthday. What are you and Shiloh doing? Anything fun?
Okay. I'll let you guess. What is like the most me thing that I could do to celebrate an occasion or, treat myself?
You are going to, I'm going to plan out this day. You are going, this is what could be more Zach? Okay, you are going to go walk around and sell AT&T to people.
In the snow.
And then you're, just a joke, but, okay, I'll do my real answer after this. But then you're going to go to a Mexican restaurant, and you are going to order their finest arroz con pollo.
And pronounce it like that.
And pronounce it exactly like that. One time, Zach and I went on a double date to a Mexican restaurant, and he goes, I still remember exactly how you ordered it. You go, my good man, I'll take your finest arroz con pollo. Or you said, I'll take your finest arroz con pollo, my good man. Well, all of those words were used.
I have no memory.
And you said that's what you always get the first time you go to a new Mexican restaurant, because it's like a barometer for if the place is good or not. If they do a good arroz con pollo, then you know that they're at least a good Mexican restaurant.
It's safe and simple. Definitely, if you mess it up, I don't trust you with anything more. Yeah,
I think that's exactly what you said.
Well, you have a good memory, because I had forgotten all of that.
That's because I thought that was so funny.
I definitely know how to pronounce it. I was just putting on a show for you.
That is how you pronounce it. Arroz con pollo, right?
Arroz con pollo?
Okay.
Maybe that's wrong too. I don't know. I'm a white guy from Indiana. Do I look like I speak Spanish well?
Let's see. What are you actually doing, do we think? Probably you're going to some sort of a music show, and you're going to do hard drugs there.
No to the second one. I am going to 2 hardcore shows tonight. One happens a little earlier, and I think by the time it ends, I'll still be able to make the band I want to see at the other one across town.
Nice. So where are those?
Well, one of them is actually across the street from Nine Lives Cat Cafe. And then the other one is just in a bar that I've never been to.
Okay, nice. That'll be fun. Is Shyla going with you, or is this like part of the gift is you get to go by yourself?
I'm going with friends, but yeah, she's not interested.
Okay. Yeah. Well, that will be awesome.
Yep. And then
you know what? That makes me here. Let me see. Where is St. Maria Goretti? That's in Westfield. Is that anywhere near where you're going to be?
I've never heard of that.
Okay. Well, that's where I will be tonight, coaching fourth graders.
Oh, nice.
So if it was close, I was going to be like, you could show up. I'll have the kids sing happy birthday to you.
Aw, that sounds sweet. But no, I mean, Westfield and Fountain Square, that's kind of a drive.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. Real quick, while it's on my mind. Okay. So my birthday is obviously an infamous day. I know
we're still talking about Zach's birthday, guys.
Sorry, it's all about me. I know you've said your birthday before.
Yep.
Can you say it one more time so I can put it in my calendar? Because it's not an infamous day. Dude, is it the 12th?
No, it's the 11th. My birthday is January 11th.
Ooh, I was so close.
So 5 days from now, I will be going to the finest Mexican restaurant and ordering some Eros Code Pollo.
Maybe having them bring you a nice sombrero and put some fried ice cream in your face.
That'd be awesome. And sing happy birthday to me in Spanish with maracas and those clicky clacky things.
Feliz cumpleaños.
Take this out, Zach. I feel like this is
Senor Juan Opat.
Okay, so yes, that's my birthday. Is it in your calendar now?
It is.
Okay. So, important sports news. There's actually a real football game going on Monday. I don't know if you're aware of this.
As opposed to the fake NFL game?
Yes.
What's going on?
Where they get paid and they only care about money, and they're not in it for the competition or the camaraderie. No, Michigan, who is my team, people might not know this, but I'm actually a big Michigan fan, Zach. You might not know this. I'm a huge Michigan fan, Zach, and they're in the ship.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, you're right. That is a real football game.
Go blue. So hopefully next week I'll come in here excited about Michigan winning.
That just jogged my memory of something that I thought was so funny yesterday. People were trash talking in my Dynasty League's chat, and there's a guy whose whole personality is that he hates Carson Wentz. And I wasn't defending Carson Wentz per se. I wasn't saying like he's great, get off his case. I was like, he has had his moment. Like, he's not trash, you know?
But why do you even need to do that, Zach? That's not your job to defend Carson Wentz, who is terrible.
I mean, yeah, now, like, there's something psychologically broken in him, but like 2017 Carson Wentz was an animal, you know? And I went to ISU. I saw him in college, and he terrified me. I mean, I loved it, but like, you know,
I loved it, but he terrified me.
Yeah, like, you know, they were comparing, this guy also has like this obsession with Jameis Winston. And so he was talking about Jameis Winston has a chip. How many national championships did Carson Wentz win? And I was like, is that a serious question? 5. He won 5. He has the most championships of any D1 quarterback in history. They're just FCS instead of FBS.
BCS? FBS? Okay. Whatever. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
You're right. It's FBS.
But they're still Division 1 championships, and he won
Carson
5
Wentz
of them.
Didn't go to a
North Dakota State University. It's FCS.
Okay. I'm sorry, Zach. That's not a good argument.
Oh my God.
That's legitimately like being like, okay, well, I have more money than you in Monopoly money.
It's like, absolutely not like that. No.
Oh, he won a lot of championships in high school. Okay.
If your high school team plays in the 5A class and you win state and you celebrate, no one's going to come up to you and say, well, yeah, but you didn't win 4A. That's not what you're competing in. You set out with the goal to be the best among your eligible competition, and you succeeded.
But if you don't, what am I gonna find the guy who's won the most Canadian Football League Grey Cups and be like, he's better than Tom Brady. He's won 9 championships, Zach. We can't compare him to the NFL. He's playing in the Grey Cup League. Like, no, the reason Carson Wentz doesn't compare is because he wasn't good enough to compare. Not because, like, do you understand my point?
Okay. Is it higher competition when you're in FBS or BCS or whatever?
Yes.
Yeah, it's higher competition. But you cannot sit there and say, just straight up, how many championships does this guy have? As if you don't, as if the other guy doesn't have 5 in his own level of competition.
That is also a stupid argument. Because if I was comparing the great, here, give me 1 second, best QB in Canadian
Warren Moon,
football.
Calling it.
Okay. But he also played in the NFL. If I was comparing the great Trevor Harris of the Saskatchewan Roughriders to Peyton Manning, I wouldn't be like, how many trophies does Trevor Simeons have, or whoever I just said? Because they don't play the same thing. I would probably have to find some other way to compare those. Because anyway,
you can't act like 5 straight.
What are we even talking about here?
I wasn't honestly expecting you to take his side because I thought that was the stupidest statement to make. I
don't think I realized that Carson Wentz didn't play in a real football college. He played in like D2 or whatever it is.
It's D1.
You're right. He probably would have gone and beat Alabama if they had ever played him.
I'm not saying that, but you can't act like he has never won anything.
No, you can't. And
that's what they were getting at.
And we also shouldn't act like he beat Alabama because he didn't. But speaking of beating Alabama, Michigan did beat Alabama last week. It was a pretty good one.
Nice.
Did you know that I'm a big Michigan fan, Zach?
You've mentioned it.
This is a bit that I'm doing now.
And I've seen you wearing the Michigan hat. It's because your buddy's a big Michigan fan, right?
Yes. My buddy is a big Michigan fan, and he bought me a custom Michigan jersey. When I started doing this bit, he bought me a custom Michigan jersey with my name on it. So I was like, okay, well, I'll just keep doing it. I guess I'm a huge Michigan fan now.
So the funny thing is, you used to be a huge Colts fan. I am still a huge Colts fan, but it hasn't sunk in yet to where you're doing a bit where you like the Colts again.
No, that wasn't a bit. I actually liked them.
All right, well, don't come crawling back next year when we're, whatever, a 13-win team.
I might.
And Anthony Richardson's the MVP.
But, it was fun really, caring about a football game. On Monday, watching that Michigan-Alabama game, or Sunday, or whenever it was, oh my gosh, it was so fun. It was like watching the old Colts or Broncos playoff games where it's just every play is the most important play, and it's it made me miss being a fan.
Hey John, do you remember when you were young and had feelings?
Yeah, those were the days.
Yeah, wish we could go back.
Yep.
Anyways, we were just talking before we hopped on about how we go too long sometimes, and I was like, we've had ones where there were 17 minutes before we get into the issues. And look at that. We just crossed 17 minutes.
We made it.
All right. Let's throw it over to the Better Business Bureau and then get into some Spider-Man.
Every business says they're better. But the ones that earn and display the BBB seal back it up. It instantly identifies businesses that are committed to operating with integrity, honoring promises, and telling the truth. Makes you wonder why every business doesn't have it. So look for it, because it's looking out for you. That's why it's the sign of a better business. And find a better business anytime at bbb.org.
And we're back.
We're back with another exciting week of Too Many Heroes. We've been doing this for 3 years now. More heroes keep showing up. There's not an end in sight.
This is what the MCU Secret Wars is going to end up being.
Yeah,
I was going to say, John,
this is what it feels like.
Are you excited for part 35 of this story arc?
Yep.
Okay. So, issue 82, this one.
No, 84.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, I just didn't update my notes. Okay. I did read the right one. I just said the wrong one. All right. Issue 84. You guys already know who this is written by. Say it with me. 1, 2, 3. Bendis, Bagley, Hannah Smith, Iliopoulos. There we go.
Nice.
So we open on Spider-Man and Black Cat in, I called it a warehouse, but we find out later, I guess it's not a warehouse, but it definitely looks like a warehouse. But they're standing in a warehouse surrounded by Iron Fist, Shang-Chi, Elektra, Moon Knight, Montana, Fancy Dan, Ox, and a partridge in a pear tree.
There are so many people that they've actually like written their names next to the characters like credits in a TV show.
And I'm just realizing I didn't even say Hammerhead. I somehow forgot one of the people in this big crowd shot.
I did notice, though, that the random guy with the samurai sword is not shown or credited.
Yeah,
so we still don't know who that is.
I
But
was
he is
looking
in
for
this
him.
again.
And everyone's just staring at each other in a tense standoff before the violence starts. And Hammerhead looks at Elektra and says, "Elektra, right? You here on Kingpin's dime? You got a message, or are you here to stick me?" And she tells him she's there to do both. And Hammerhead asks her how much the Kingpin pays her, and says he'll double it for her to protect him from these other heroes and work for him. He says, "I need you to turn the tides before this starts. No offense, Enforcer guys." And Montana says, "None taken." I love that. It's like he's actively agreeing. He's like, "Yeah, I know, we suck. Like we're not cut out to fight Spider-Man and these other guys."
Yeah. I was a little surprised Elektra just like switched sides so quickly. I mean, she did not need any convincing.
Well, we haven't got there yet, John. But yeah, she thinks for a moment before agreeing. I thought that was strange too. Like, she was already working for the guy in power. Why jump ship for a less established boss?
I guess double the money.
That's what he says, but she didn't even think he had that much money.
She also didn't ever say how much she made.
Right.
He's like, "How much does Kingpin pay you?" And she's like, "More than you have." And he's like, "Over 200 grand." And she's like, "Yeah." And he goes, "Okay, I'll double it." You don't even know how much it is.
That it might be smart for her though, because she, if she defends him in this fight and then they're like counting money later, she's like, "Yeah, I said it was over 200 grand. I actually make $1 million."
Yeah, there you go. Savvy.
Yes. And Hammerhead says, "Now you other idiots want to rethink your intrusion in my personal life?" And Black Cat raises a finger and says, "Hey, Hammerhead, sir, I'm the Black Cat. Ever heard of me? I was actually here to try and get Spider-Man to step aside for you." And Peter tells her, "You're embarrassing me." And Felicia explains that she hates Kingpin and wants Hammerhead to take him down. And Hammerhead asks her if she has any skills. And I liked this. Elektra actually vouches for her and says she actually does. And she's not lying. She hates Fisk. And Felicia changes sides and says to Peter, "Sorry, sweetie, just business."
These girls stink.
Well, I like that, like, the last time they saw each other, Elektra tried to kill her, and, like, just about did. And I thought, oh, they hate each other. Like, this is about to be a cat fight. And then, she, it's almost like there's some level of mutual respect there, because she vouches for her immediately. And Hammerhead brags about how he just changed the whole situation, and he gives the heroes one more chance to leave before the fight starts.
Do you think that, so if we're looking on the same page with all those panels, Do you think Moon Knight looks like a little creep?
I think Moon Knight is a little creep.
He looks like, Dracula's assistant, who's always like hunched over, like
Igor.
Yes,
that's funny.
Okay.
So we get a close up of all the major players getting ready, and then Peter's spidey sense goes off. And on the next page, we get an insanely busy collage of the fight happening. And Moon Knight sticks Hammerhead in the forehead with one of his crescent-shaped throwing stars. But because of how strong his skull is, it doesn't kill him, it just annoys him. And as Peter and Elektra are fighting, he asks her, "Hey, are you busy Friday night? Because me and my girlfriend just split up, and..."
Okay, I've got a question for you. So do you think that he is talking about him and Mary Jane? Or is he talking about him and Felicia because she just, changed sides on him?
That's a good question. I think it's Mary Jane because he is not... Black Cat has called him her boyfriend, but he has never once, reciprocated that they're in a relationship. He just thinks she's hot.
I also think it's funny that, every time Peter and Black Cat fight, she's just, making comments, about them dating the whole fight. And he's like, "Shut up." And then whenever Peter and Elektra fight, he's doing the exact same thing to her. He's making all of the comments.
It almost feels like he's doing it for Black Cat's benefit somehow. Like he's trying to make her jealous or just irritate her or something. It doesn't. Yeah. It feels like he's talking through
I think
Elektra to her.
I think he has a crush on Elektra. Because every time he sees her, he is always, kind of smitten.
Boobs.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe.
Aren't we all, Zach?
These comic book ladies are something else, John. We've established I simp for them.
Yeah.
And Hammerhead is about to shoot Moon Knight, but Iron Fist punches him from behind and throws off the shot. And Moon Knight charges and decks Hammerhead. And Hammerhead keeps blasting, saying, "I don't even know who you are, and you come into my house." And his shots miss Moon Knight and rip through one of his regular goons. And at this point, Peter's like, "Whoa, okay, this is just about enough." As he starts blasting what I called extra wide webs. You can see they're just super thick. And we see a panel of the entire room transformed into a massive web that's holding all of the combatants, with Peter standing in the middle saying, "All right, now, everybody calm down."
It seems like Peter dealt with 14 heroes pretty easily here.
Yeah, it also seems like he maybe could have done this from the start.
Well, I guess he could have. I didn't know he could do this.
Yeah, it's kind of seems like a power creep. It seems like a plot contrivance, but it is funny, I think.
Yep.
A lot of this fight banter in this issue I found really charming. And he says, "You guys are nuts," and this is coming from a guy in red and blue underwear. And Black Cat starts to say, "Come on, sweetie." And Peter interrupts her and says, "Oh, you shut up. I'm done with you." And he pulls a phone out of Montana's jacket pocket and calls 911 and asks for Captain DeWolf. And Hammerhead starts to threaten Spidey, and Peter webs his mouth shut. And then I'm just going to read this whole page because it was fun. So he's on the line with the 911 dispatcher, and he says, "Shush, I'm on the phone." "I'm sorry, could you repeat that?" And they ask, "What's the emergency?" And he says, "It's hard to say. Kind of got a super-powered gang war thingy going on. Can you just put me through to Police Captain Jeanne DeWolf? She knows me." And they say, "What's your name, sir?" And he says, "This is Spider-Man." And they say, "Get out of town. You serious?" He's like, "Yeah, I'm kind of in a jam here, so..." And then they start interrupting him, and they're like, "I'm a huge fan." And he looks at Black Cat, and he says, "She's a fan." And the person's like, "You saved my brother-in-law from getting mugged." And then they're like, "Oh my god, my family owes you big time. You promise this is you?" And he's like, yes, I really need to talk to the captain. And they're like, you got it, baby. Hold on. And then he looks back at like the people he has webbed up and he's like, huh, she called me baby. Finally, someone likes me for me. And then Shang-Chi says, Spider-Man, you know me. Remember we fought in Chinatown? And I think that's like the first reference we've got to them meeting up in Ultimate Team Up.
Yeah.
Which, like I said, ends with, and they never saw each other again.
And they never meet again, yeah. Oh my gosh.
Bush League writing.
We got him.
This. You should have known what you were going to do like 4 years later.
Yep.
And he's like, oh, just free me. You know I'm one of the good guys. And Peter's like, no, I'm not freeing anyone until the cops get here. You can all just sit tight. And Moon Knight starts yelling at Peter that the whole city is at stake and he's putting his nose where it doesn't belong.
Moon Knight is a dumbass, okay? Let's just get that on the table. I just don't like him for some reason, and...
Why, John? Do you know something that's coming?
No.
That's what you accuse me of whenever I say I don't like someone.
I just don't like him. I don't like his stupid costume. You know, I didn't like it when the TV show came out earlier, and I'm glad that later on in these issues, Peter makes fun of it. But he's standing there webbed up. He has one of his little moon things in his hand. Cut yourself out, dude. Like, the whole time he's webbed up, even back in the main picture, he's got his little moon thing in his hand. He'd just rather sit there and complain.
It is true. You can see a lot of weapons poking out of Peter's webbing. Like, you can see people have guns exposed. Montana has his whip. And the whole time I'm reading this, I'm like, why aren't they just trying to use any of that?
Yeah, Montana could still be, like, whipping people.
Peter is standing right next to him, and the only thing I can come up with as to why he doesn't just whip him in the face is maybe he can't, like, move his arm to cock it back, so it would just be all wrist, and it wouldn't hurt Peter.
Yeah.
But I like this beat where he's on the phone, and he's dealing with business, but then he'll, like, pop away for a second and say something kind of,
oh, yeah, that was great. Yeah, that phone call
smirky
was great.
to one of the people he has webbed up. And he does that here. So Moon Knight's yelling at him, and Peter just looks at Montana and says, can you believe this guy? He wears white to a superhero fight. And Montana says, just leave me alone. And Peter continues, white? Have you seen the rooftops in this city?
Dude, it is ridiculous. The first time I saw the Moon Knight costume, I was like, that's his costume? It looks absurd. Like,
there's something about, like, when someone's in a black costume, you're like, all right, cool, stealth. I get it. When Peter's in a red and blue costume, somehow it almost still kind of makes sense because it's like, yeah, he's a superhero.
Those are his colors.
White just feels loud for absolutely no reason. And I know blue and red is loud, but he's right. White is stupid.
Yeah. It is funny that Peter is just trying to, like, talk to everyone, and they all just are like, just don't talk to me, you know?
He's like practicing his stand-up bits, and he's like testing out what works, and none of these people are amused. So Peter finally gets through to Captain DeWolf, and he explains the situation to her. And as he's talking, Elektra cuts her way through the webbing because she has the same idea John has, that she still has a weapon. And she throws one of her blades at him, and he dodges it and says, oops, gotta go. And around that time, all of the other people start to cut or rip their way free, and the fight resumes.
Well, I think it's because she threw a bunch of ninja stars, and we're supposed to assume that those, like, sliced up webbing enough that now everyone is able to, like, break free.
Oh, you're right, because she frees Black Cat, who's on her side. She frees Hammerhead, who's on her side. The only person who really breaks free on their own is Moon Knight, and like you said, he had his thing.
Moon Knight finally decided to use his weapon.
Yeah, he had his blade exposed the whole time. Okay, so at least some of the players are back on the board. And Hammerhead sneaks up on Spidey. I don't know how, but he does. And he puts his gun to Peter's head, but his gun is out of ammo when he pulls the trigger. It just clicks. And Elektra stabs through Moon Knight, and as Moon Knight is bleeding on the ground, Hammerhead lifts his mask and takes a picture on his phone of Mark Spector's face and says, "I own you." And he also shouldn't be able to say that because he does still have webbing over his mouth, but whatever. We're going to roll with it. And
wow. Okay.
I'm imagining it came out like, "I own you."
Yeah.
That's how I'll explain it away. And Elektra and Spider-Man are fighting while Black Cat watches. And I kind of got the sense from her face that she's like conflicted between helping the side that she's actually on or protecting Spidey, but she doesn't do anything.
Well, it seemed like when Hammerhead put the gun up to Spider-Man's head and pulled the trigger, you know, we do get like a reaction shot of her. And I think that that's meant to convey that, like, she kind of realizes maybe she messed up. Like, she's like, oh my gosh, Spider-Man almost just died, you know?
Yeah. It definitely makes me like her more that, you know, she's a thief. She's a criminal. She's technically a bad guy. She's on the side of the bad guys protecting Hammerhead. She doesn't really know Spider-Man under the mask, even though she keeps acting like it. Like, sometimes you wonder, is this a bit to her? Or does she actually care about him to some degree? And it's like, this is kind of showing us, yeah, you know, she really does, like, not want to see him get hurt. She's not like a psychopathic villain or whatever. She just wants things and, you know, will break rules to get them.
Yeah. Here's something interesting. Earlier in the issue, Moon Knight calls Peter like a idiot monkey.
Yeah.
And then right now in this fight that Peter and Elektra are having, she says, "You're like one of those little monkeys." So that just seems like, I don't know, bad writing or something.
Guy who's only ever seen one animal.
Yeah.
Ooh, this reminds me of a monkey.
Yeah. Or maybe Elektra just like had that phrase like in her head because she heard Moon Knight just say it like 20 seconds earlier.
Maybe they just watched that one really bad MCU Spider-Man movie and they think his name is Night Monkey.
Yeah. Ouch. Shots fired at Far From Home.
I love how I said that one really bad Spider-Man MCU movie, like there's significantly better ones.
I think all the Spider-Man MCU movies are good. Except I think the worst one is the newest one.
No, that's the best one.
Okay.
I haven't seen it since I was in theaters, and maybe I would disagree on a rewatch, but they're all kind of fun, but they don't feel like Spider-Man movies, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So Elektra and Spider-Man are fighting, and he's still flirting with her. He tries to make another joke about seeing Elektra on Fridays, but then she starts kicking his ass for real, and she kicks him out a window where he falls on the hood of a cop car, and the issue ends.
Ouch.
Yep. John, what did you think?
Oh gosh, do you have a rating scale for us, Zach?
I'm gonna say out of monkey references. Out of 10 monkey references, what is this?
This is a 7.5 out of 10 monkey references.
Yeah.
Because I thought it was like pretty good. It was a pretty quick read. For the most part, it was just a big punch up for most of the issue.
Yeah.
But it was fun, you know. Good stuff.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I'm going to give it...
You have a better review for us?
Like, punch-ups are not usually my thing, but this was just so fun with the dialogue and with him, like, juggling conversations and making jokes the whole time. I give it an 8.5 monkey references out of 10 just for being enjoyable. There's not like the issues that we give 9s and 10s to. Usually there is some depth or nuance or character work there. And I think there's a little bit of that because I just, read into the panels of Black Cat. But for the most part, it's just kind of what, you think of as like a comic book. If you're not a comic book reader, like, yeah, they fight and they make jokes and the art looks cool. And that's like exactly what this is.
Yeah. Okay. Is it an issue now that Peter has shown he can very easily take care of like 13 villains at once?
It seems like that. And then when like 4 of them break out, I don't know why he just doesn't do that move a second time. Just web them
up again.
Yeah. It's a little bit of a plot hole, but you know what? I'll roll with it.
Yeah.
Because it was fun.
Yeah, I don't really care that much about it either. Okay, something else. So the phone company, when Hammerhead takes a picture of what's his name? Moon Knight on his phone, the phone company is Roxxon.
Ooh, yep.
Now that is a reference to something, right, Zach?
It pops up a lot in the comics and in the Spider-Man video games that PlayStation's making right now.
It was in the MCU just like a little bit, because in Loki they show that like in the future, like almost like everything is owned by it's like a company town owned by like Roxxon or something.
Was it? I guess I missed that.
It was it was in season 1 when they go to some like apocalypse. It's like
that's probably why
like owned by Roxxon.
I forget season 1.
Yeah.
Good,
so
good
wait,
eye.
is that like a villain? Who is that? Is that like Mark Roxxon?
No,
is he trying to get his rocks on or his rocks off?
No, I like it. It's actually just like an evil corporation metaphor. Like I don't
like Amazon.
Yeah. But at Amazon, Jeff Bezos is like the man at the top. It's more like I don't know, just an evil corporation. Dude.
Yeah. Okay, I got you.
Yeah. All right. Ready to get into your issue?
I'm ready to get into it. Okay. Issue 85. Did you have anything else on issue 84? Are we done with issue 84?
I think we're done. It kind of speaks for itself.
Okay. Hopefully not. We'd be out of a job, Zach.
But
okay, issue 85. Normal creative team. Spidey's down on the police car because he just got thrown out by Elektra. It looks rough. His back looks in a rough shape.
He messed that car up.
Not to get us too off topic, but do you know, this is going to go like a couple layers. So the Spider-Man 2, did you know that like Tobey Maguire was almost not going to be in Spider-Man 2 or something like that?
No.
Okay, so he was, and he was almost going to get like recast with Jake Gyllenhaal. So anyway, this is all to say, and then he also had some like back problems like during the shoot of Spider-Man 2. So at some point he like goes to jump trying to use his webs because he loses his powers, and then he goes back and he tries to jump off a building and he falls onto like a dumpster, and he gets up and he's like, "Oh, my back. Oh my gosh." And it is kind of an inside joke because Tobey Maguire actually like had back problems that were going on during the shoot. But the reason that it's also funny, the reason I bring it up is because there's another Easter egg of like a Daily Bugle newspaper in that movie. And there's 2 things on it. One of them is like Jake Gyllenhaal like recast or something like that about like an in-universe movie like Jake Gyllenhaal. And then, at least I think I might be thinking of something else, but then the other one is like, can chronic back pain cause impotence? It's like a thing in the newspaper. So anyway, they're kind of taking shots at Tobey Maguire.
That's funny. I did not know that.
Thanks, Zach, for indulging me. Okay, so Peter is lying on this cop car. It looks bad. And Elektra is standing watching from the building above. And Elektra walks over and she unwebs Hammerhead. And he's like, "Oh my gosh."
We got him.
Oh,
he was already
yes.
unwebbed. But here he's webbed up again.
Yeah, that's true. He like shot Peter in the head.
We got him.
Did he get webbed again?
No.
Oh, we definitely got him. Yeah, he was for sure. Yeah. And he like can't speak anymore. And we heard him say, "I own you."
Yeah.
And now he's like, "Malaka." Okay, so he's like, "Oh my gosh, it's the cops. I cannot get pinched right now. I just the cops are here. Like, I've really got to get out of here and get out of town." Why? Aren't you like a mobster? Would he be that scared of the police showing up? They know he's a bad guy already, right?
Right. You would think he'd have, like, dealt with this before.
Or at least he wouldn't be, like, so scared of the situation. Like, the cops are, like, there, and he's immediately like, "I've got to get out of town. I cannot get in trouble for this. Like, my parents are going to be so mad at me."
It does come across that, like a college kid that got busted at a party.
I got to get out of here, man.
Yeah, that's funny. I think they just drew him webbed up so that they could draw this lovingly rendered shot of Elektra's butt walking over to it.
There's a lot of shots of Elektra where like her butt or her chest are just like, not only are they the focal part of her in the shot, they're the only part of her in the shot.
We might see it more than her face. Like, that's just,
Yeah.
You see the cheeks and you're like, oh, I'd recognize that anywhere. That's Elektra.
Well, it doesn't help that both her butt and her chest are bigger than her face.
That's comics, baby.
Yeah. So Elektra looks at him and she's like, "So is my job offer rescinded?" And he doesn't really say anything. We cut away and we cut to Spider-Man back on the ground. And the cops are, of course, all pointing their guns at him and they're about to shoot him. They're like, "Get down on the ground. We'll blow your head off." And then we cut back to Hammerhead and Elektra, and he's like, "I don't need any witnesses, Elektra. Kill everyone." But Elektra turns and stabs him in the stomach with her trident thing because she's not working for him anymore. And he should have seen this coming after she said, "Is my job offer rescinded?" And you know, you got to remember why she's there in the first place.
Right. That's another thing we learned about.
He's not very smart.
People in door-to-door sales. You have to know someone's why.
Yep, exactly. And hers is money.
Yeah. Man, I just got to think, if only he had a partner who was maybe wiser, maybe had dealt with the cops before, was good at thinking. Maybe if he hadn't killed Silvermane right now, he would have someone to say, "Hey, man, let's not announce to the mercenary that we can't pay her anymore."
He's also, you know, how long has Kingpin been in charge? And, like, he's never been in a situation like this. This guy's been in charge for, like, 2 days, and every hero in the state is at his door, like, immediately.
That is funny. Like, Kingpin almost, they hate him, but there's almost, like, a charm to him where they're like, what are you gonna do?
This is just, like, an uber lack of respect for Hammerhead, that they're all just like, "Yeah, it's just Hammerhead. We'll just show up. It's fine."
I'm just imagining the fish from SpongeBob that says, "Oh, brother, this guy stinks."
So Elektra turns and stabs Hammerhead in the stomach, and he falls. He's kind of down for the count, we see. And Captain DeWolf bursts onto the scene down low, down on the ground, and she starts yelling at the cops who are, like, gearing up to shoot Spider-Man. Just like she always does. She always just shows up and she's like, "Stop pointing guns at Spider-Man. Go do your job." You know, hey, I like her, Zach. What can I say?
You would think they could just...
on this raid before.
At this point, she should just have, like, she's the captain. She should just have, like, a police force-wide policy. hey, if you see this guy, don't just start shooting.
You would think that like this would be talked about back at the office now with the whole team. Like, hey guys, Spider-Man is clearly, we're at least not going to try to murder him. You know, we don't have to be his friend, but you know,
right? Hey, a cop's going to do what a cop's going to do.
Yep.
It's just their natural instinct, John.
It is like her, you know, most police, I don't know. Is she also like immediately bursting in and she's like, this is my jurisdiction now?
She likes that, yeah.
Yeah, she's just always coming onto the scene hot.
Dude, S.H.I.E.L.D. should hire her. She knows her line.
They should. They should. So, and they probably will. Because they're not very smart and they don't do very good background checks, I'm guessing. And there's a little tease for later in the issue.
I don't know what he's talking about, listeners.
So she asks Peter, well, Spider-Man, where Hammerhead is. And then all of a sudden he just comes flying out of the window above down onto the police car. Or not down onto the police car because Spider-Man webs him up before he falls onto the police car.
It's funny, there's already a broken window from where Peter fell, and Elektra went to the trouble to throw Hammerhead through a different window.
Yeah, this is very, like, I feel like this is like a scene from a sitcom TV show or something like that, where, you know, she just tosses people out. Like, where's Hammerhead? And then he falls down right on top of them.
She has a real problem on her hands in that there's like still 20 people up there, and she's going to run out of windows to break eventually.
She's only got 2 more windows on that floor, we see. So then we go back up into the building, and Elektra tells the rest of the group she's lucky that the cops are there. Otherwise, they'd probably all be going out windows. And she goes to leave, and as she goes to leave, Black Cat gives her a good punch to the face and says, I've been meaning to do that. Why? They were
because she
just
tried to
on
kill
the
her.
Same side, like 2 seconds ago, though.
They were, but I was even surprised by that. I thought she was going to see her and be like, oh, not this.
So did she actually like try to kill her?
Dude, she threw a knife. She threw a knife. This wasn't the last one. This was like the last time they met.
No, I know. Yeah, and it's been like 2 weeks since we read those issues.
It's been longer.
Okay.
She threw a knife in her stomach, and then Black Cat fell off a roof.
Oh, that was like the past story.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like a different arc with the two of them. It was even called Cat Fight because they were like pulling each other's hair. And
that's right. Yep.
It got real.
And that's like surprising that Elektra has pretty good comedic timing, it seems like. Judging by she's throwing people out windows, you know, right on cue. You know, it seems like when Hammerhead was like, does she have skills? She'd be like, yeah, I threw a knife in her stomach and she lives. So and she fell off a building and she's back, I guess. So she seems like she's good.
Maybe a healing factor or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll circle back on that.
Okay, so they get in a fight. Black Cat punches her. I said here they have a sexy fight. And Elektra is gearing up to execute her when a Moon Knight Moon Ninja star comes in and takes her out from behind. And we get one panel of Moon Knight who's like looking up like he just threw it. And then he collapses back onto the ground because he was like passed out. Wow. Was Elektra actually going to kill her, you think?
100%. She's
Sad.
just killed like 5 people. You think she'd have compunctions about this that she already tried to kill earlier?
Yeah, Elektra looks pretty evil. There's the scene specifically where she's about to stab her. She's really, she's really looking pretty stabby, I think.
And then, John, when you kill someone up in this penthouse, what is the natural thing you have to do next? As the story has shown us.
Yeah, this is pretty funny because then Black Cat throws her out of the building down onto the police car below. It's very good.
That's just the body disposal system.
What doesn't make sense I get that it's like drawn for like artistic reasons, but why is Black Cat's face sometimes like so shadowed she actually looks like a cat? Like on page 8, and then also on page when she throws her out of the building on page 12, like, you know, her face is just like totally, I don't know. It's like I said, it's obviously just artistic, and it looks fine. It looks kind of cool, but
just stylization, I guess.
In the real world, Zach, that just wouldn't be the case. Okay,
sure.
I'm getting, you know,
if there's ever a real world fight between gangsters, ninjas, cat burglars, a guy with spider powers, samurais, an insane person in white, I'm sure it wouldn't play out this way.
I'm glad Moon Knight is just an insane person in white.
That's all he's done so far. I mean, I guess he just killed Elektra. That was pretty cool, but whatever.
Moon Knight did? Oh, is she dead? No, she's not. Elektra's not dead.
She's got a throwing star sticking out the back of her head, and she just got thrown out a window.
I think it said she's in a coma, right?
Okay.
We'll see.
All right, no, coma, sure.
She's fine.
Let's go with that.
So back on the ground, the cops are about to go up and round everyone up. Captain DeWolf is like, you know, after the third person gets thrown out the window, she's like, what the hell is going on up there? Go get up there. Get everyone. And and then Elektra gets thrown out of the building and lands on a cop call. Okay, so Captain DeWolf... Sorry, Zach, I'm all over the place in my notes. Captain DeWolf is sick of everyone falling onto her cars, and she says, all right, everyone, go get up there and see what's going on. And Black Cat is unwebbing everyone so they can all get away. But right as she unwebs Iron Fist, he goes to attack her with his magic fist. And I said, this guy sucks. He does absolutely nothing. He's like completely not needed for the story. And then as soon as he gets untied, he just wants to kill Black Cat.
Am I the idiot for not knowing why?
No, because he doesn't have a reason to.
He says, I should kill you right here. It's like,
dude, what?
Do you know her?
Yeah. Literally.
I'm sorry, who are you?
Yeah. Yeah. The only reason is because in theory, she was just fighting against them all. Because she did join Hammerhead and Elektra's side in the big punch up.
If her and Elektra could momentarily let bygones be bygones.
He just also watched her fight Elektra. Dude, I mean, he's just a dumbass, you know. Too many heroes.
Yeah.
And so DeWolf shows up in the building, and all of the important people are gone, except for Moon Knight, who's still unconscious on the floor. And we then cut to Peter, who's on the roof, and Black Cat comes up to him, and she tells him that she's sorry. And he's kind of giving her what for. He's like, I can't believe you sided with Hammerhead over me. These are bad guys. And she's apologizing, and she's like saying she had an epiphany. And he's like, you've got so much going on for you. I mean, you're so pretty, and you're so hot, and you're so pretty, and you're smart.
And what was I saying?
Yeah. And she's like, you really think I'm pretty? And he's like, I mean, obviously, yeah.
How does she possibly need validation?
Well, she is consistently getting, like, turned down by a 16-year-old boy.
She doesn't know he's 16. But, like, in her civilian life, you can imagine she probably gets hit on all the time.
Probably she keeps to herself, I would think. Like,
maybe.
You think she's just, like, always in Catwoman mode, Black Cat mode?
That's fair. She's probably not this outgoing when she's Feliciaing.
But I don't know. Maybe she is. So Peter is like, oh my god, this sexy girl is about to smooch me. And Black Cat is like, okay, Spider-Man, I'm going to take off your mask. I'm going to make out with you. This is happening. And Peter's like thinking to himself, like, okay, I should leave. I should not let her take my mask off. But he's like paralyzed in teenage hormones. As we all would be. Zach,
Yeah.
I was right back there at 16. I was like, oh my gosh. I'm getting nervous for Peter.
You just know his hands are so sweaty in those gloves right now.
Yeah. And so she goes to take off his mask, and she pulls it off, and it's pimple-faced 16-year-old Peter Parker, and he's got this big, goofy, like, smooch face, and Black Cat immediately sees him and throws up on him. And she's like, oh my god, how old are you? And she just runs off.
And she specifically throws up on his crotch, which I think might conveniently hide a from the readers.
Oh my gosh.
It's funny. She's like, oh my god, he's a child. What have I done?
You would have to know. I mean, like, his voice, every person who fights him, they're always like, you're just a kid. Like, as soon as he starts making jokes, they're all immediately like, oh my god, are you a kid? What is going on? Like, surely she would know. I mean, I figured she knew he was genuinely young. Maybe she was like 18 young, but she couldn't have thought he was like an adult man.
Yeah,
right?
I don't know.
Right?
Maybe you're right. She probably was like,
I mean,
he's a college kid or something.
She was probably just blinded by his big muscles.
Yeah. Well, also you get the sense she's not really like active in the superhero game. Like Hammerhead didn't know who she was. I think she just pops in and steals stuff, and he's like the only super person that she knows. So maybe there's a bit of that going into it, you know?
Yeah.
Like if she had met Captain America, she'd be smitten by him. If she thought she had other options,
that's
true. It'd be different,
Yes.
but she just knows Spider-Man.
Oh, her and Captain America should get together.
I just want to see more of her in general, because especially like
Zach, we see quite a bit of her.
It's not enough, man.
Peter's big mistake here was you've just got to do half the mask, man. Like,
he's already done that.
You blew it.
They have kissed before with just half the mask.
But also,
yeah, but also it was the elephant in the room for the readers. We're like, is she going to find out that like he's underage? And she did, and to her credit, she did the right thing. She was like, oh, never mind.
Yeah. You blew it. So
John, we're not going to cheer for the teenager to get with an adult.
I don't think that she is like an adult. I place her age as somewhere between Mary Jane and adult woman. You know,
like an older teenager.
Yes. I would put her at like 19 to 20 here.
She still shouldn't be with a 15-year-old.
He's 16, right?
He's 15.
Okay. I mean, I'm not.
She still shouldn't be with a 16-year-old.
Defend this. I'm not going to defend this.
Canceled.
I'm not going to defend this, but also that's like what, a freshman and a senior or something. So
shouldn't happen.
I'm not gonna. No. Okay. Sorry, Peter. Zach says he can't make out with Black Cat. Sorry.
Well, we also don't get.
Zach.
They probably very intentionally did not tell us her age, so we don't know how bad it is versus how bad it could have been.
That's what I was thinking. When you keep saying she's an adult, I'm like, I don't think we ever know how old Black Cat is. She could just be like, because for a while, for her first episodes or issues, I thought she was like Peter Parker aged. She was like a high schooler who was doing this stuff also. Anyway,
she's at least old enough that she knows
too much
better.
Time on this.
Yeah.
Well,
it was
that's
funny.
Why she threw up. That's why she threw up on him.
It was funny. Moving on.
Okay, so back at Kingpin's lair, Kingpin's right-hand man tells him that Hammerhead will probably walk. And not only that, but he also says they're like, yeah,
if he survives the coma.
Yeah, if Hammerhead survives, he's probably going to walk because he was attacked in his own home and whatever. He was always going to walk. These people don't go to jail. That's like the benefit. That's why I don't know why Hammerhead was so scared.
Or if they do, it's the shield Triskelion, and they'll break out whenever they need to.
Yeah. But then his right-hand man also says Elektra was going to sell him out and switch sides before the fight turned. And that makes me wonder how he knew that. Unless like maybe somebody else from Kingpin was there. So who knows? And then Kingpin asks about Moonlight, and they say he's still in a coma, and there's no fingerprints, so they don't know who he is. And Kingpin's talking to someone else.
Dude,
and he says, these costumes. Yeah, Zach?
I was going to say, how easy is it to get in a coma? I feel like it's easier to die than to get in a coma. Why are all these people in comas?
Oh, it's Moon Knight and Hammerhead that are in comas.
Yeah.
Elektra is not the... Okay.
Yeah,
so
she's
Elektra
super
is dead, I guess.
Yeah. But
Sad.
It's like... I understand narratively, they're like, oh, we might use them again. Let's put them in a coma. Yeah, that's what you do in fiction. But, like, how many people do you know that have ever actually been in a coma?
That's very daytime TV soap opera, you know?
Yes.
While they're under... I've known one person to be in a coma, and their name was Zach at the bar that one night.
That is fair.
And it was
Here I am.
Very scary.
Here I am talking about how no one gets in comas. Forgetting that.
You can cut that if you want.
Whatever. That was funny. But it's like, in true daytime TV fashion, now I'm hoping that Mark Spector's girlfriend falls in love with Hammerhead's brother, who's a twin or something.
Well, in true soap opera fashion, Mark Spector probably like will come out of the coma and like not remember who he is or anything like that. And
oh, sure, he'll have more personalities.
Yeah. So Kingpin says these costumes, and someone else says, I know it's annoying. And he says, at least one good thing came of this. Spider-Man trusts you now. And we get a full-page shot of Captain Jeanne DeWolf, who is looking quite menacingly, I'll say. And she says, what do you want me to make him do for you? Scary.
Ooh.
Zach, I still like her. Am I wrong? She's still good at her job, right? Spider-Man would have got blown away by cops.
I mean, that's the scale we're grading on. The one cop who's crooked but didn't let other cops shoot someone.
I think that it brings up a good ethical dilemma and an ethical conversation, which is, you know, if we think Kingpin might be better for the city than Hammerhead, then is it that bad to just have him also have someone in charge of the police? Aren't we not fans of the police, Zach? So, you know, like, I just don't know.
She trusts them to run themselves, so let's let the gangster do it.
She's doing a good job, though. We're not seeing her do a bad job. You know? So does it matter if she's... For now, does it matter? It might in the future.
John, you're going down a path I can't follow.
I know. I'm just kidding. Obviously, this sucks, and I knew that she was a bad guy because you were never a fan of her, and you would have been if she wasn't.
I hate that I spoiled that accidentally.
No, it's okay. You didn't spoil it.
You guessed it so early, I had to try and gaslight you, and I'm like, no, No.
This was surprising. It did surprise me when I turned the page. I was like, what? No. Oh, Jeanne. They even like put a big DeWolf sign on her just in case you like don't recognize who that person is.
Yeah, she's wearing her badge where her name is about 10 times bigger font than New York police.
Yeah. So she's on the payroll. We should have known, honestly. Well, we did, kind of. Back at the Parker residence, May asks Peter if he skipped school, and he just looks at her. And she says, I won't live in a house of lies. If we have to talk about this again, I'm kicking you out. And Peter looks sad, and the issue ends.
Can she go to jail for that?
I don't think she can kick him out.
Right.
And I don't think she would. It's kind of an empty threat. She probably just came home. She had a couple drinks at her wine club. She was just over it.
Yeah. What do you think?
I liked this one quite a bit. There was some good stuff in it. Maybe we could judge this out of people getting thrown onto police cars or thrown out windows.
Ooh, love it. Let the bodies hit the floor.
Yeah. So I gave it an 8 out of 10 bodies hitting the floor.
Okay. Man, I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10 because I feel like there was a lot, like in the way that the last issue didn't really accomplish much. There was a lot that got accomplished in this one. I have known since we started the podcast that I wanted you to read the scene where Black Cat throws up on him. I've known.
Why? Did I do a good job?
It's just funny. I just wanted to get your first reaction, you know? I've known since we started talking about Captain DeWolf that I was going to make you read the reveal that she's crooked. I was like, Elektra dying kind of matters. Let's get his take on that. But then you were like, oh, she didn't die. She went into a coma.
Oh,
but
sorry,
still,
Zach. I blew all of them.
No, you did not. It was fun. Yeah, I don't know. I'm in a happy mood. It's a 9. Maybe a different day it wouldn't be a 9, but like,
I don't think I like that Elektra's dead. I kind of wanted her to like switch sides and be a good guy. She's supposed to be like an anti-hero, right?
She wouldn't have done
die
that.
A villain's death.
In this universe, she has not done one heroic thing.
She looks really pretty.
That's true. Yeah, as Peter would say, that's an asset. That's a virtue,
Yeah.
You've got so much going for you. You're gorgeous. You're smart. You're pretty. Your eyes sparkle.
Your outfit's great.
Really, the whole deal. You've got everything going for you.
Yeah, they're oh man. Okay, so now she's dead. So Elektra's dead. I wanted her to kind of become good. DeWolf is bad. I wanted her to be good. Black Cat doesn't like Peter anymore. They'll probably still be on the same side, but are we even going to see her again? Yeah.
I think we're kind of done with her.
Why are they kicking out? Zach, Bendis just maybe he just doesn't like strong women. I don't know.
Maybe
Gwen's gone. I'm seeing a trend.
We'll get some more strong women who I'm very excited to spend time with.
Oh yeah, okay,
yeah. I love Black Cat. I loved how Bendis wrote her. I hate losing her. But it won't be too much longer.
That's really like the end of Black Cat. We don't get to see like another conversation between them.
She might pop in at some point that I'm not thinking of, but like this was her arc, dude.
Okay. So is this the end of Too Many Heroes? Is the arc over? Warriors?
Yes, Warriors is done. We're starting a new arc next week.
Should we give Warriors a graded scale? Here, let's count it out here really quickly, Zach. We've got Spider-Man, we've got Kingpin, we've got Hammerhead, Black Cat, Elektra,
Iron Fist, Shang-Chi,
3 Enforcers,
and a guy with a sword who never got a name.
We're not going to count him then. He's not one of our warrior. Moon Knight.
I think Moon Knight counts as 3 people.
That's true. Okay, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So out of 13 heroes, we're calling the Enforcers heroes, what would you give this entire arc?
I got to figure out what this even equates to as a percentage.
Okay, let's see. You're a better man than I am. I'm just going to guess a number.
Okay. Let's say our number at the same time. 1,
Okay.
2, 3, 9.
9.
Yeah, that feels right.
Yeah, I couldn't quite give it a 10.
It's a 69%.
Nice.
Yeah, it has big moments, has great art, has really pretty women.
Which is a big asset. Yeah.
But then it's like a lot of build up.
It was like
just for this.
What was it? 7 issues, and yeah, just not that much happened.
Yeah.
And it was very underdeveloped with Moon Knight. I don't know why he was in there, except that maybe this ties into like another issue run where Kingpin and Moon Knight are like more at the forefront or something. I don't even know.
That would make sense, wouldn't it?
That would
I don't
make
think that's
sense.
the case. And then Shang-Chi and Iron Fist.
Why are they in this?
Yeah.
This really could have been done without all of those guys.
I would have traded all 3 of those guys not doing anything for Daredevil being here and not doing anything, and at least we get to look at Daredevil.
Gosh, that would have been awesome. And this would have made more sense with all these people. Like he goes better with all these people than Iron Fist and Shang-Chi.
Yeah. Most of the plot happens in these 2 issues. The others are worth reading for Black Cat being a silly willy.
She is. She's a very silly willy. But it was still fun. What's our next arc?
Silver Sable, doing issues 86 and 87.
Silver Sable, what's that?
It's another pretty lady. Man, he fights a lot of pretty ladies.
Peter Parker's a cool guy. Hangs out with a lot of pretty girls.
I don't know that fighting counts as hanging out with, but sure.
Okay, do we have anything else Spider-Man related?
I actually do. This week, listeners, is a very special week.
It's Zach's birthday. Have we mentioned that?
That too.
And it's actually my birthday this week also.
Yeah, this is a huge week for this pod.
Yeah.
But also, a third reason why it's a huge week, Ultimate Spider-Man #1 by Jonathan Hickman comes out this Wednesday.
Nice. And that's what, are we going to, so.
I figured we'll wait. We'll wait a little bit. Let's not spoil it for people. Let's let people read the issue, and then maybe in a couple weeks we'll talk about it. Because I'm going to New York, not that week, but the week after. I think I'm gonna wait, and I'm gonna get some variant copies of it from Midtown Comics because they might have like an exclusive cover or something. Sometimes they do that, and
nice.
I'll bring it back. I'll get you one. I'll get me one. We'll have physical copies of it that we can hang in our houses, and
nice.
We'll see how it is.
That sounds awesome. Why are you going to New York?
Because it's cheap. I found out through an Instagram reel. They basically, after the Times Square ball drop, people leave. January is kind of dead for New York tourism, so their tourism board has they call it Hotel Week, Restaurant Week, Attractions Week, Broadway Week, but they're actually all like 3 weeks long. And the weekends that I'm going, all of them intersect and line up. So it's like Broadway plays are buy one, get one ticket. The observation decks and museums are like half price. Some of the nice fancy restaurants have like a fixed price menu that you can eat from.
Oh, this
hotels
is awesome.
are like 35% off, just to get more people to come when it's cold and miserable. So I'm one of those people.
Dude, that'll be so fun. When is that?
The 19th through the 23rd.
Dude, that'll be awesome.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
That's during Omaha's birthday.
Yeah.
I don't know if you want to reschedule or but
Man, hate to miss that.
Oh, well, that'll be cool. Okay, so maybe we'll have to do like a bonus episode about that one, or just talk about it on a post show or something.
Yeah, we for sure will, but we'll let people digest it a little bit. Maybe by the time we do it, issue 2 will be out also, and we'll have read that.
Okay, there you go.
We'll see.
Okay,
so that's it for Spider-Man stuff.
That's it. Okay,
Yeah.
so are we on to other things?
Yeah, what do you got?
I have 2 very small things.
Okay.
One of them is Spider-Man related. Okay, I thought of this the other day. Peter Parkour.
Just
That's pretty funny. It's pretty
Spider-Man
funny, right?
that does parkour.
I don't know. I just thought, has he ever been called that before or anything? In the comics, has anyone been like, man, you're like Peter Parkour or something?
I would bet anything that that's someone's Instagram name who posts videos of themselves doing parkour.
Okay, well, anyway, I just thought of that. Do you have anything?
No, that was sick.
I have one other thing, but I'm going to let you go now if you...
Oh, is your thing Spider-Man related? Because you can just get it out.
No, it's not.
Okay.
No, that was it.
Well, I had a nice comment on Reddit, actually. I posted our year in review award show on Reddit, and M. Koenig said, been listening to you guys since day one, and heard you mention posting on here, so just wanted to swing by, Spider-Man pun intended, and say hi. Also, Sleigh Bells rocks.
Why is that? Why Sleigh? What about Sleigh Bells?
That must have been right after the episode where I told you to listen to Sleigh Bells' first album, and you definitely didn't.
I did listen to them. They
did
rock.
You?
They rock.
Oh, yeah.
Rocks.
Yeah. Seriously,
well, that's
check
nice.
It out.
Thank you for listening and commenting.
Yeah, that made me happy. Because we don't get many of those on Reddit from people who have actually listened before. We get some where people are like, "Oh, cool, I'll check it out." But love to hear from someone who's been there since day one, because there's not many of you.
Yep. Okay, I've got one other thing here, Zach.
Okay.
This is pretty dorky. So I was watching some clip of Avengers Infinity War, and it was the scene. Okay, try to picture this. It was the scene of Thor with the Guardians. Zach's eyes are closed. He's really doing a good job of picturing it. It's Thor with the Guardians, and they just woke him up, and he's talking about how he needs to go to Nidavellir and get a weapon. You know what the scene?
Yeah.
Okay, and he's like, I have to go to, and he says Nidavellir. He says the V instead of the D. It's Nidavellir. And he says, I have to go to Nidavellir. And then Rocket, immediately after, is like, Nidavellir? That's a real place? Saying it correctly. And then Thor says it again. And he's like, the tree, the rabbit, and I will go to Nidavellir. The rest of you will go to this place. So he says it wrong both times, but also they respond to him saying it correctly. So, it was just something I saw that clip and I was like, what in the world? I have never noticed that before. But
do you think it was just Chris Hemsworth reading the script wrong?
Definitely. I think he couldn't get the words out correctly.
He's like, it's a fake place for a silly franchise. I don't really care.
Yeah. Gosh, there's some other movie where one of the people has to go to some place like that and they just cannot get the words out correctly and they had to changed what the place was called. And I wish I could remember what it was. But I can't. Sorry.
That's funny. Isn't there, I might have misheard it, but for years I've always thought in Thor the Dark World, Kat Dennings calls Mjolnir, or maybe it was the first Thor movie, she calls Mjolnir Mew Mew. because she can't say it right or something. I just
feel
thought
like
that was
maybe
funny.
She does.
Yeah, and me and Shyla for a while were like, "It's Mew Mew."
That's funny. Well, do we have anything else?
I was watching this video that just went viral. Have you seen the guy that jumps over the judge's bench and attacks the judge that was sentencing him in Las Vegas?
Oh my gosh, no, I haven't.
That's insane. Someone said he took like a 30-month sentence and turned it into like 30 years.
Dude, that is so absurd.
And right before he does it in the video, he's like appealing. He's like, I'm not on drugs anymore. I'm not actively currently committing those crimes. I'm a different man. I'm trying to continue my education and get a job. And she just like starts talking over him and is like, no, I'm going to keep my sentencing. And then he just immediately loses it and disproves all the points he just made.
Oh, well, poor guy. I'm not saying that this is fake, but that what you just said is fake, but I feel like everything I see on the internet nowadays is a fake video of something. Like
100%.
Every video I see is like, it's just like fake. It'll be like some grainy video that looks like security cam footage or something, and it'll be like, this store was getting robbed, and then look at what happens, and it's like, it's fake. I can already tell that that's staged in some way. Or, some like grainy video of someone helping a homeless person, or
I hate those ones.
It's just always a fake video, and you don't even have to. It just annoys me.
Yeah. I saw one the other day. Like the bait bike videos.
No.
Someone will like set a bike somewhere, and either they've loosened the screws so when you try to ride off, the wheel will fall off, or they've like tied like fishing line to it, so like once you drive far enough or whatever, it yanks back and you fall off. They'll have rigged the bike to some way, so they're trying to basically bait and then catch someone who would have stolen a bike and like get it on video and mock and punish them. And I saw one of those where it's not like they hid the camera across the street or in a window or somewhere where like the person wouldn't see it. This guy walks up to a bike, and the perspective that you're watching is just walking around, like not on a tripod, like someone's holding their phone in the middle of the street, walking around watching this guy steal a bike in broad daylight, filming him. And it's like, people were actually commenting like, yeah, shows that would-be thief. And it's like, do you not realize that was his friend filming?
Yeah. That is ridiculous. Yeah, all these videos, you're just supposed to believe that all these things happened with like this huge camera right in their face as this is all going on.
Yeah. Or like there'll be multiple angles and shots and stuff. And just, people don't question it.
This is a very well produced moment on the street that was just randomly captured.
Aren't we lucky that there's 32 angles and pristine audio quality for it? Yeah, man, everything's fake.
Yeah, not this pod. This is the only real thing left.
We're authentic. And sometimes amateurish, as one reviewer said.
Yep, that was funny. Okay, do we have anything else? Should we send it out?
I think we should. Shall.
Let's first send it out with a great Go Blue. Everyone be rooting for Michigan this Monday night. We're all big Michigan fans.
Or Colts tonight. That's also blue.
That's fine. But we're all Michigan men. Thanks to Ian Hickey for the music and Alyssa Steven for the artwork. And thank you all for listening and leaving us a review or a comment. You can find us all on the First Read Ultimate Spider-Man podcast on Spotify or Apple Music or anywhere else you can find podcasts. Or you can come and chat with us and leave us a comment on Instagram at First Read Podcast. Send us an email at firstreadspidey@gmail.com or find us on YouTube, First Read Ultimate Spider-Man Podcast. See you next week, Zach.
See
Go
ya.
Blue.